Hello, this is our late night review.
Yeah.
Depends when the
Very light night.
So we saw Blue Beetle. We have L to the C with us as well.
But he's not on camera for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So what did I think of the movie with all the stuff that happened? I liked it, surprisingly.
That was amazing.
Yes, there were some parts that did drive me nuts in the movie.
There were some sad parts too.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. The best DC movie
It was
in
amazing
a while.
overall. Definitely the best one that they've made so far. At least in a while, anyway.
Yeah, after Flash bombed and then
Yeah.
Black Adam just being Black
Adam
Adam.
was trash.
It was. So I really liked it. L to the C, he seemed to like it.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, L to C?
Oh, this movie is definitely on my buy list.
Yeah, I will definitely be pre-ordering this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I'm
movie
definitely gonna order it when it comes out.
it
on DVD.
surprised me. Yeah, I'll see you in the full review. So what I have to
But
rate?
we have no idea when that's gonna be.
All right, what would you have to rate it before we go?
Definitely a 10 out of 10.
How about you, L to C?
Oh, 10 out of 10.
All right, I'll see you in my review. Bye, everyone. Hello, guys. It's D to the B reviewing another movie as the introduction showed. I'll be reviewing Blue Beetle. I'm going to be kind of quick with this one because it's currently Saturday, 12 o'clock in the morning. Well, 12:30 actually. And I need sleep. So let's make this as quick as possible. As I said earlier, the movie was pretty good. I did have some issues with the movie, but still pretty enjoyable. George Lopez was the best part of the movie. He was pretty funny. So basically the plot is this lady who inherited her husband's company is looking for and finds this mystical item to help develop her super soldiers. And right away she finds it. Then we meet our main protagonist who has came back from college to be a lawyer, or he graduated somewhere. And he finds out that his house is being sold because the rent went up or something like that. And he needs to get a job. So he's a servant at the lady from earlier's house, and very quickly they get fired. Then they return home, and also the the niece or granddaughter of the lady gives the guy a second chance because of her being the reason he got fired in the first place. And then he goes back to he goes to another company that the one lady owns, but at the same time the granddaughter or niece sneaks into the building and steals the mystical item, which I forgot what it's called, but it's basically how Blue Beetle's able to access his suit. And of course, Blue Beetle, or no, not Blue Beetle. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. Our main protagonist gets the item from the niece or granddaughter. He goes home. He's told not to open it, but guess what he does because of his family? He opens it and it goes straight up his butt. No, I'm not kidding. And he harnesses the power of Blue Beetle, and we go through these funny antics as he is not able to control his suit. And then he goes back to his home. Then the rich lady is upset and demands that the niece or granddaughter be found, which eventually our main protagonist, when driving around, finds her. They escape. They go back to the house. We discover more about the mystical item. They go looking for it. And the bad lady is also going after them at the same time. And eventually we discover that the grandfather of the younger girl, or the granddaughter, niece. I don't know. I don't remember. My brain is tired. So they discover that the grandfather was Blue Beetle, and we find out information like the only way to disconnect the mystical item is if the main character dies. And then the lady goes after the family, which in the cost of that, our main lead's father dies from a heart attack, which was hinted at earlier to happen. Good foreshadowing. That scene almost made me cry because it was so sad. The family decides to go rescue the main protagonist because he is later captured by the villains, I should say. And they're draining the thing that's on Blue Beetle's back to copy the energy of the item, so then they can create super soldiers, which they succeed. And this one guy that the lady has, which is part cyborg, gets the suit upgrade, and for a while Blue Beetle and him fight, and the bad guy, well, the henchman at the end, sacrifices himself to destroy the crazy lady, and then they live happily ever after. And then the granddaughter or niece gets together with our main protagonist, who becomes Blue Beetle, and that's pretty much the whole movie. I'd say it was pretty solid, probably the best DC movie in a while, because I said, in my personal opinion, the last one was the Snyder Cut. Like, the Snyder Cut definitely improved Justice League a little bit. Yes, it was too long. Yes, they should have just split the movie into 2 parts, to be honest with you. It did not need to be a 4-hour movie. They just need to split that movie in half, and people would watch it. We should know that people watched Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, and look how both those movies did. So yeah, I really like this movie. I'd say it's a 8 out of 10, pretty solid movie. Surprisingly, I was hoping this movie was good, but political reasons had me concerned for the movie because the director made some comments about certain people, which I don't like when politics is shoved into a movie, no matter what side you are on. I just want the movie to focus on a story. I don't care about the race of a character, what gender a character is. I just want a good story and it to be written well. And I'm glad this movie wasn't ruined. There was one scene where it was that had me worried, but you could just take it as a superhero, a usual superhero trope, instead of what the director probably wanted it to be. So yeah, I really recommend this movie. If you don't want to watch the movie because of how DC is lately, that's fine. DC has not been doing good lately with their latest failures, Black Adam, which I freaking hate that movie, and The Flash, which skipped because it looked stupid. So yeah, and now we're on our final movie for the Snyderverse. I did hear that if Blue Beetle did well in the box office, they would consider it a part of the reboot, which honestly, even if the movie doesn't do well, just seeing this movie, it should be a part of the reboot, because that would be a good start. And James Gunn, if you're watching this video, it would be a good start for Blue Beetle to be the first of the reboot, because it was pretty good. And also, Blue Beetle was left on a cliffhanger. You don't want to just not go back to Blue Beetle. You don't want to just leave it as a cliffhanger. You gotta continue that story. Granted, I guess the reasoning makes sense. As after seeing Black Adam and Well, and skipping the Flash, I think the DC universe needs to be rebooted. Yes, I'm not fond of some decisions that James Gunn has made, but he clearly cares about the comics and all that. So I have a little bit of optimism, but at the same time, I'm concerned. So yeah, my opinion, Blue Beetle should count for a reboot and could fit in the reboot timeline because it doesn't really show anybody from the Snyder universe. Like, no cameos at all. Like, Shazam, Fury of the Gods had Wonder Woman, and Black Adam had Superman. Like, those make sense to consider the Snyder universe because they had cameos from actors from the Snyder universe. Blue Beetle didn't have any cameos, and I was happy because this movie honestly deserves to be a part of the reboot. So kind of something similar to like how Bumblebee is kind of the beginning of the reboot, even though the main producer refuses to consider it a reboot and say it's a prequel, even though they don't fit together. So yeah, that's my thoughts. So far, it doesn't look like the movie's doing good, but I had to say it was not a bad movie. It's definitely better than Shazam, Fury of the Gods, which didn't hate that movie, but it wasn't that good. Like, the comedy was probably the only good thing about it. Besides that, the movie was not that great. I think it was definitely a downgrade. So yeah, that's my opinion. Tell me what you guys think of Blue Beetle. Did you like it? Did you hate it? It doesn't matter which one you felt. Tell me in the comments. And have a nice day, everyone. Or have a good night. I'm going to bed.